HP, baby. Completed the whole island. Give me something. Oh my god. Yikes. Oh, X is calling.
A child
Hey,
isn't...
hey.
Give me 10 seconds.
Okay. Is he defining what a child is? Thanks to 5 gift subs, Mal. There's gonna be like a WWE match? I don't think so. I think there's... I just can't imagine multiple takes on a pretty simple situation. It is literally making something out of absolutely nothing. It should be pretty easy, but I guess we'll see. Thanks to tier 1 Ting, and the resub Vizlo and Tonk, and Immer, and Opulent.
What's up?
Hey, hey! What's the sit rep? Lay it on me.
Oh! No, I wasn't in a video. I wasn't in a video. I did some stuff. There's some stuff that I gathered. Yo, I'm gonna make it faster than last time. Listen, because this time the points are much sharper and much. Oh, this fucking egg always goes on my screen. Kim, listen. This is the point out. Also, yeah. I'm a visual person, right?
Mm-hmm.
A visual. Well, I said checkmate. Also, 6 moves, good one by the way. It's like I saw 2 things. One that's like moving around, the one that locks it in place. So I thought 1-2 and it's over. Kind of checkmate. But I can't explain properly. Listen, the way I see it, this isn't drama. You want to realize that the differences between adults in opinions is not drama. It's drama because your dad is a cucklord and is okay. I'm not gonna get there. Anyway, your point is in your video, right? In your video.
Yeah.
Okay. I think there's so much. People don't understand how much there's unpacking this. There's a lot of components in this. There's a lot of components.
Yeah, very nuanced. Very nuanced.
A lot of topics like things like safeguards, things like and the reason why I'm more involved with this video than last time, out of the Gamba shit, I became like a 5-head. I don't understand it. Chat doesn't get it. I think the internet isn't ready for the truth sometimes. I get a lot of these concepts. Now here's some of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the 2 mistakes, or the thing that I think there was a mistake about. One is about safeguards. And the other one was about nuance in what was it again? It was nuance in I'm printing my answer in my head.
Yep, all good.
It's printing. Hold up.
I'll wait on the fax machine. No worries.
Yeah. Come on, Jay, help me out. Because I said it and I forgot what I was wondering about. And I don't want to do the entire video again to make a point, or at least start. Yeah. Nuance in nudity and content.
Right.
Okay. So here's So I'll go to the main point. I'll remove this. So then, you bring up in the vid at one point that like people are naked. Oh no, you say at one point, you say that you understand that Aiden, right? So Aiden,
mm-hmm.
he showed porn or something like that, right?
Yeah, he went on Pornhub. Just yeah, well, I mean the clips are all there. I mean, yeah, it happened.
I know. I said a little about that. I didn't actually watch. I'm not kidding,
okay.
But I get the point though. Right?
Yeah.
And then, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then in the other instance, oh man, I'm trying not to get lost here, okay? Because I think there's 3 parts. Fuck.
All right, here I'll throw you a little lure here so we can start on a topic. I think it's actually very simple. So the video from Kitty highlights me in particular at the end as hypocrisy, because I had made a statement saying it was weird when Aiden Ross pulled up full-blown porn on stream, and I called it weird, which I still think it was. It is weird, and it is weird because you have to consider that there definitely were kids watching. Now, I know the point that you, as well as a lot of the pseudo-intellectuals in the comments made, is like, well, at least there was an 18-plus warning on there.
Yeah.
And fair enough. Not that that's a great safeguard, which I think is what you wanted to touch on, but that is there. Yeah, that was there where you click, yes, I'm 18. Well, actually, on Kick, I don't know if you have to even click anything. I think you can still just go. But regardless, it was in like the title, I think. So that's a point that a lot of people like to make. And then fast forward to the Fansly advertisement. There was no porn shown. Would you argue that anything was sexually explicit in the advertisement itself? Was there any nudity or anything that you wouldn't find on Instagram or on Twitch itself right now?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm not going I'm not going down that route because I think it's dumb, right? Me personally, with my core beliefs, I think yes, but for the sake of the argument and the sake of terms of service, no. So that my answer to that is no. The actual pictures shown and things, right, were not a problem.
Right. So we can stop right there. So we can recognize there's already a distinct difference between Aiden Ross showing full-blown porn, nudity and everything, versus the advertisement that was shown, which was all clothed. Now, it advertises to something that is full-blown porn. But this is where we get back to safeguards. I, as well as most people I imagine, are under the impression that Fansly is a service that can only be accessed once you log in and verify you're 18 years old. That's no different than Kick having an 18 plus check in the title or whatever. So, I feel like there's already extra degrees of separation on that front as well. I don't feel there's any merit to claiming that I'm hypocritical for calling Aiden Ross pulling up porn, which was on stream out of nowhere at random, just legitimate full nudity porn, versus a porn advertisement which had no sexual content in it whatsoever until you went to the site and then signed up. Now, I understand the site isn't very secure. From what I've read, you can sign up at any age. It doesn't really do good checks. That's information I didn't know at the time, but even still, that is a problem with Fansly itself that I was unaware of. But the point still stands. Me laughing when that pops up is not hypocritical because it was not nearly on the same playing field as the thing people are calling out that I've said before, which was pulling up literal Pornhub on stream in front of the audience is a very far cry away from clothed.
No. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and defend you on this one. I mean, I don't think it's hypocritical either, because people think it's like a black and white, right? And I think laughing. I generally think that laughing at something being like dumb and like surreal and kind of stupid, right?
Right.
I think people get the point. What doesn't make you like an endorser / whatever, right? Because something extremely terrible, like let's say a call to action to violence, we go, oh, that's terrible, right? But somebody, let's say, saying, oh man, making a comment about something that isn't crazy, then you may say, this guy's kind of crazy, or this guy's kind of dumb, right? And I think laughing or saying the same thing I did, right, doesn't flip the switch into endorsing it. Or does that make sense or not? You get it?
I absolutely understand what you're saying. And that's the only point I was making. MewKitty highlights me as a hypocrite. She is still on Twitter saying I'm huffing copium by defending that there is a huge distinction between what was broadcast by Aiden and what was advertised by QT. So, this is what I said on stream, and I'll say it here as well, because I know she watches you a lot. If she truly feels these are exactly the same situation and it is hypocritical, then I would like her in her next video to play the unedited, uncensored version of Aiden Ross's Pornhub moment and then play the QT Cinderella Fansly advertisement so we can see them side by side and see if they really are the exact same situation like she insinuates they are. I imagine that won't go super well. One of those clips is going to get her banned, and the other one is right now on YouTube and Twitch without problems. And I think you can guess which one that is. It is not the same.
No, I get that. So I think the hypocrisy is out the window. Just some of the argument patterns that I didn't agree with, which don't earn a big deal. Charles always backpedaling, but overall, that's why I said it. Basically, the issue that I had is at one point you say that something that I hear a lot, like Twitch, hot tubs like that, right? I think this shit should have been instead of being widened, this should have been really hard on the hot tub shit and bikini stuff. They should have been hard on it. But instead, they caved in the demand, and they kind of widened it. As long as you're in a hot tub, you can be like half naked, right? Which is like, it's just pseudo nudity or nudity, right? It's kind of fucked up, right? And in the video, you say at one point, you say, "Oh yeah, but it's nothing that on Twitch, if you compare it, I mean Twitch isn't better. Even if you're young, you can just click on a category like hot tub, and you're gonna see nudity, right? But then I kind of fire back at you with your same argument you did earlier about you're able to look at the ad, right? Then you wouldn't get banned. If you look at porn, you're gonna get banned on Twitch, right?
Right.
Well, if you flip it up, I mean, if you take the content if you take the content that's in Fansly, and you would have put on Twitch, well, you would get banned, right?
Yeah.
That was the only point. If you take the content that's being pushed towards and call to action to consume, if you would have put that in a category, well, now you would get banned. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I don't see the relevance to the overall. The reason I brought up the hot tub streaming was just to point out once again that content that was shown by the Fansly advertisement is not content that is like actually worse than what Twitch is already advertising, which is hot tub streams. Like I said, if you go on Twitch right now and you're not logged in, you are recommended hot tub streamers in that recommended section 100% of the time. The point was, this content is already on Twitch and already super accessible. It's kind of weird to focus the outrage on that advertisement for the content of the advertisement when it's not worse than what's already here. Now, going to where it's advertising, that is a problem. But once again, that's a degree of separation where you would only, like I said, I didn't know this at the time, you would only think you could access that content at 18 plus through a verification check, which apparently Fansly doesn't really do. The whole point with the hot tub segment was just to highlight that this content wasn't like outrageously sexual, especially when compared to what's already on Twitch. It wasn't really trying to make a grander point about like the state of hot tub streaming on Twitch itself.
Yeah. I got that. I just thought that since you're knowledgeable about safeguards, or at least from certain barriers, that you would have tried to investigate the fact that if you do understand the importance and the use of safeguards and how they're it's the best we could do, right? So like 18 plus checks, that it would be kind of weird for a QD stream to advertise and make a call to action to enact with a product that's 18 plus without having the 18 plus tag on her own stream she broadcasted that stream.
So you're saying for the overall stream having an 18 plus due to the sponsor having explicit content?
Absolutely.
See, that's a totally fine argument to make, but that's not one that MewKitty was making against me. I'm only fighting back on the hypocritical stuff, because I think that's a load of horseradish. That's all I'm talking about. So everything I'm talking about is to defend that. I'm not here to defend the Fansly being on here. Like I said multiple times now, I think both are probably not the best decision to play porn on a stream or advertise porn to a stream, especially when it's not like beforehand, this is going to be an 18 plus sponsor. That's totally fine. I agree. You could have absolutely had an 18 plus somewhere in there. Absolutely. That wasn't the point of the video though.
Yeah. See, people talk about nuance, but I think when your site is advertised as an adult site, adult content, then you have to make a parallel with something as drastic as just saying fucking Pornhub. And at that point, right? At that point, if you advertise something like Fansly, then you'll be okay with your stream being not 18 plus as a tag in the title or in the setting and advertising straight up Pornhub, because Pornhub has a lot of videos of creators that are not naked. I know, but they are not naked. They're just doing some like roleplay, whatever, or ASMR, and there is a lot of nudity and nude and directly pornographic content. Same way that Fansly does, and that creates a one-to-one equivalency in product being delivered or a thing to be consumed by the consumer. Right?
Yeah, but you've already overlooked a core component of that example. Pornhub is easily accessible without any kind of login or verification. Fansly, to my knowledge, you still do have to log in, albeit its system is complete dog shit and lets anyone in under 18. So there is still a difference in the actual service itself, but the product does stay the same, you're right. And again, that would be something you would absolutely need the 18 plus check on, and would be something that, again, I would say is not a great decision.
Yeah, at that point, it's very, very difficult, because then we're talking about the severity and efficacy of safeguards, right? Overall, and I think that's a discussion that the internet isn't ready to have.
Well, I think it's a discussion everyone already knows. The safeguards, like, I mean, clicking I'm 18 on Kick, I mean, that's the easiest thing in the world. No one's going to see that and be like, fuck, I'm not 18. I'm going to get the fuck out of here. This is too intense for me. It's the safeguards aren't effective. However, when you go to a service that I assumed was a paid service for only 18 plus subscribers, you would expect them to do their due diligence with like an ID check or something. I think OnlyFans does that, though I'm not positive because I don't use that either. I would think there'd be some kind of system in place since it's paid porn where they check that you're of age to be purchasing it. So that check, I imagine, would have been a little more thorough than the standard one of click yes, I'm 18. But apparently that's not the case, which I didn't know.
Okay, I feel like the so safeguards are it's a massive topic, right? Because safeguards, it literally makes you have conclusions. I generally think, and it makes you understand it, right? In my opinion, you either take them seriously or you don't. There's not much of a nuance there, because regardless of how good they are, people will discredit them.
Yeah,
right?
For sure. I mean, there's always ways around it, 100%.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll get any pushback on that, yeah.
Yeah, because see, a good thing of the gambling era that I noticed, right, is that when you think about, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, crypto gambling sites, right? In terms of safeguards, sorry, I had your GoDaddy ad open or some shit, or somebody linked it in chat earlier, and I clicked on it by accident. Oh my fucking god. Sorry, GoDaddy with the big titties, my bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll
Yeah.
get you. That had you going to Wooga.
Yeah. So the good parallel is that if you think about internet safeguards and things you do online virtually, crypto gambling sites are the most inaccessible of almost all content out there, because one, right, there's 18 plus whenever you log in, create account, whatnot, and even that, to interact with the product, to be able to actually play with money, right, you have to have an account to deposit crypto from, right? And how do you get that? Well, you have to go to an exchange. Right? And from that exchange, right, you have to make an account. In that account, you have to submit like your passport and shit. So like legal docs, like legitimate legal documents for them to verify your accounts. Then you have to so I don't know what I call it again, Jeff. I forgot. It's called KYC. So after you do KYC, you have to link your bank, right?
Yeah.
Link your bank, transfer funds twice, and then go back to the website that's 18 plus, and then you can interact with the product. Is this something or an activity that targets or is prone to children? I think that's incredibly disingenuous of an argument to push.
I don't know who's pushing that argument, because that was not in that video at all. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how we got to gambling. I was gonna let you cook on it if you wanted to, but yeah, I didn't say anything about gambling. For what it's worth, though, it's all good. But for what it's worth, there actually have been a couple cases where kids have signed up for crypto gambling because they usually don't check the verification until it's time to cash out. So I remember there was a story I read not long ago where kids signed up. They had some money they won through crypto gambling. I don't remember what site. I don't think it was Stake, but it was one of those. And they had money in the account, but they couldn't cash it out because then they needed to verify their age. But Stake was more than willing to take the money before verifying.
Oh.
So I don't know what this has to do with the core topic, but I mean, yeah, that's this. Any safeguards are prone to being breached regardless. But yeah, some are better than others.
So the only reason why I made an argument is that to show that safeguards, in my opinion, have a wide array of them, and if people in general, the public, doesn't agree with the argument of Gamba safeguards, which are, I think, one of the strongest out there because of how hard it is to get there, right? Then they will never ever accept any online safeguards without supervision, ever, unless their parent has to put their thumb in a machine, right, and log them in. They will never agree to any safeguards on the internet. They just won't. And these people need to understand that their mentality is bricked. That's all. Do you agree with that or not?
I'm gonna be honest. I followed you all the way up until you left the safeguard component about putting like their thumb or like where's their thumb going and where like what is it like a biometric scanner?
The argument is that it's hard to argue when you make the argument about safeguards.
Right.
People are gonna give you some pushback and say, "Oh, it's easy to do this, it's easy to do that." I generally think the people that say that safeguards are bad, right? They aren't really to understand it.
Well, I don't know who's saying safeguards are bad. It's always
no. Safeguards don't work. Don't work.
Oh,
right?
Gotcha.
It doesn't matter the severity of the safeguard. They will never agree that safeguards online work or have any value, unless there becomes a time where parents have to come in with a thumbprint thing and they put their thumb in a machine that scans their age and then their child is able to play. Right? If it's not that, they will never agree with any degrees of online safeguard. They'll just say that it's just you're talking to ghosts.
Okay, so then the grand point you're making to kind of relate it back is in terms of safeguards, and you're using gambling safeguards
as the strongest.
Okay, gotcha. As an example of strong safeguards. Okay.
So if people don't agree with the strongest safeguard, then they will never agree to any degrees of safeguard, right? Because it's like impossible at that point. It's literally it's like it's like whenever you're young. You ever go to the Blockbuster and there's like a drape and then you go and you peek through the fucking boobies area?
Well, I didn't know Blockbuster had a boobies area. Holy shit, that was a well-kept secret from me. No, I can't say I've had that experience.
Oh shit! I mean, our local like Blockbuster spot. I mean, in Quebec we didn't have Blockbuster. We had the store. We would go. We would go to the fucking a store, right? We get movies, and we would peek because they have like a door, but instead of a door that's physical, it's like like drapes, right? Or like a curtain, and we would go pick the curtain at the adult fucking movies, right? And it would look at like the thumbnails.
Oh, right? Gotcha. So like, would it be like a shelf or something full of adult films?
No, it was a room with a door.
Oh, okay. So like a full. Okay, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and it did Blood's past year, and it would go and peek it. That's just kind of how it goes. Anyway, see, that's like the type of safeguard, you know, that there is sometimes around these things, and I feel like the internet is kind of the same thing a little bit. They're like inefficient type of safeguard type shit, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a conversation to be had about the effectiveness of safeguards and how we can make them stronger. None of that was at all what I talked about. Again, it was all just about the hypocritical claims that I was tackling.
Okay. Well, no, it's okay because I just didn't agree about like your like I said, about what I told you. But I do agree though that I don't think it's hypocritical to react in various ways to various degrees of something, right?
Yeah, because I think all of us can agree that the severity is different between pulling up Pornhub on stream versus the advertisement, which didn't have the explicit content, though did advertise to it, which, again, I have said many times now is still not great. But it is inarguably not as bad as the Aiden Ross situation, thus I don't think it's hypocritical to have not immediately made a huge stink about that and instead laughed at it and then called it uncomfortable. That seems about right. And if she disagrees, then again, I welcome her to play the unedited, uncensored Aiden Ross Pornhub moment in her next video, and then play the QT Cinderella Fansley moment, and we'll see how it goes. So we can see how similar they are.
You know what, Tim? I just came up with the, I like making parallels and I like making what we call analogies that apply one to one, right? That are valid to try to simplify a topic. You know what I just thought about? The topic of violence, right? Mm-hmm. I show you a clip of UFC, right? Which is people sign a waiver, they voluntarily go to fight, right? Right? That's one thing, right? That's about as consensual as it gets to fighting, and then a video of some guy who does like an assault, like it was punching me in the fucking face in real life, right? He comes by and is just knocked him to the fucking bing, right? Mm-hmm. I think if I show you the clip of the UFC, right, you'll have a certain reaction, and if I show you a clip of a punch and assault, you have a very different reaction, right? And I think even though this is the topic of violence, it's still violent in both ends. The reaction to these things will be severely different from one end to the other. Even though it's extreme, the two ends are very extreme. I still think there's value to present the argument that there are degrees of reaction based on what is happening. And I think you laughing at Kid making a sponsor and you saying, what the fuck? International show porn doesn't show hypocrisy. I don't think that's hypocrisy.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm hoping after this conversation, she will also see it that way because I don't see the other side of the coin. I get Fansly itself has problems where if you do sign up, like it doesn't actually verify you're 18. Like apparently you can just sign up with Twitch and it doesn't check if you're 18. It takes Twitch's word. That's a problem. And that's, of course, information I didn't have at the time. But even still, there is a very different degree of severity between pulling up Pornhub versus pulling up the Fansly advertisement. So even still, again, the whole thing was just tackling the hypocrisy statement.
Yeah. Chances I don't validate chances.
They're both bad. One's worse, which is why I talked about it first.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, just as I'm fooling, but the reality is that both my gotchas are like on semantics, even though I still think that there's value to the gotchas. Your argument is always back to your video title, which is good. It's good that you did that as a debater or a talker. You go back to the hypocrisy of it, right? That's the topic, right? And you are right. I don't believe you're hypocritical. It was more like getting sidetracked on small semantics rather than big topics.
There's nothing wrong with that. Like again, it is a legitimately nuanced topic that you can have a lot of branching conversations about for sure. But that wasn't the point of the video. It was to tackle just one topic in particular. But yeah, I totally see what you're talking about on other things for sure. I'll be honest, once you started bringing in like thumbprint retina scanner stuff, you kind of had me wondering what was being whipped up in the kitchen back there by the chef. But overall, I think I understand where you're trying to go with a lot of like the branching paths to the conversation. There's nothing wrong with that.
You know why I said that? I said thumbprint because it is the last amount of barrier you can have, because it's called the 3-rule life. It's life on 3 rules. FA 1, 2, 3. Always remember this, Charlie. Something that you know, something that you have, something that you are. The reason why I brought the argument of thumbprint is the last line of defense behind who we are as people in terms of security like that. It is something that you are. An adult. And the adult has its thumb and they'll press it. Otherwise, the children can get access easily to something that you know, a password, something that you have, a computer or a device, but they don't have access to something that you are, the parent's thumb. Boom. Thoughts?
So there was a lot in there. Overall, I think I understand the bigger point that you were aiming at. And, you know, I like the passion behind it, and I do think I agree. I hope I understood you correctly.
That's right.
I hope there's just a lot in there that was going on. It got very almost Socrates for a moment with the what you are kind of stuff. But I think
you know you don't get that? It's FA. It's FA 3 is the maximum 3. It's a video by Tom Scott. Factor authentication.
Yep.
Right? Has a maximum of 3. It's a triangle. Something that you know. A password. Right? A password, a name, a code word. Something that you have. Like an authenticator device. So you play it in your computer. A physical object. But also something that you are. So your thumbprint, your eyes, your DNA, your see it? And the third one is the strongest by far. Right?
Yeah. So absolutely.
That's how it is the 3FA.
3FA, baby.
That's right. That's right. Okay, I'm out, bro.
All right, man. Good conversation. Have a good stream.
Yeah, that's right. You too, man.
I think that was productive. I always enjoy our little talks. Makes the resub X's and the prime adequate, and the resub Pog and Flux. Things got a little weird for a minute in there, but overall, I think that was a good conversation. 3FA, baby.